Besigye must humble all of us as political leaders, as the opposition in particular, and must invite the best out of us to do something extraordinary. Not merely to have him rescued from the hands of his tormentors, but also to ensure that this does not happen again to anybody, save Dr. Besigye, who has been a victim, not once, not twice, but to ensure that nobody, no citizen, is treated in this most inhuman and degrading treatment. The treatment of Dr. Besigye is the height of dehumanizing, belittling somebody just because you want to exact revenge and retribution on them. I'm very sure the regime is being vengeful on Dr. Besigye, and they are sowing bad seeds of politics of revenge and retribution, which some of us abhor and believe that it's very dangerous politics. If Dr. Besigye has a crime to answer to, we have a court system. I am not sure whether his kind treatment is part of the court system. I am not sure whether his kind treatment is part of our justice system, and therefore he must go through it. I am very sure the laws of the land are very, very clear on how to treat the sick in the course of trial. And therefore the regime has no explanation under the sun they can give to justify the inhuman and degrading treatment they exacted on the person of Dr. Besigye. As the political opposition, my contention is that we could have done better and more to ensure that this does not happen. We have a problem. We are very divided on very mundane issues. The leadership of the opposition currently is extremely divisive and unable to bring the opposition together, and for me that's a problem, because they believe everybody with an idea different from theirs is in contention with them, and that's a very big problem. I think the opposition leadership in and outside the parliament must rise to the occasion and behave more maturely and intelligently on how to deal with these kind of situations. Otherwise, what is happening now to Dr. Besigye can befall everybody as long as we allow it to become a political culture in this country. The continued detention of the late Honorable Segiri and Honorable Sawanyana, even when the regime had failed to try them, as they had claimed that they have overwhelming evidence against them. So it's a no-brainer for anybody to question when somebody is released when they're in legal detention, unless that some person is grandstanding and therefore has no locus over which to stand their politics. The politics of grandstanding has partly played into the hands of the regime, and I object to it.
On the issue of what has been
is going astray. The treatment of Dr. Besigye must bring the best, probably the worst out of us, to object and demand that Dr. Besigye is released and is in the hands of his family and his doctors and his lawyers to restore his health so that he is able to face any kind of charge on trial. So according to me, he's being persecuted, and what he's going through is part of what the regime elected to treat him as punishment for his resistance against the regime, and therefore the opposition must rise in a more structured manner, and communicate and work with everybody, not in the kind of divisive manner, because every other group are trying to have their way, believing that we are in contention. The issue of Dr. Besigye and other prisoners is not a matter for which we are in contest, and therefore must be handled with the kind of diligence and with the kind of togetherness never seen before, so that it does not happen again in our midst.
A situation like this reminds us
the eventual demise of Honorable Segiri should have offered the political opposition enduring lessons, because he was a colleague in the hands of our enemies, and therefore the opposition should have done everything in their power to have our colleague back in our hands. I was equally shocked when the opposition questioned the manner of Segiri's release, when actually some of them were part of the court processes we went through to have him out of prison. So how do you question? What kind of wisdom do you offer by questioning the release of a sick man who is fighting for life? I hope when eventually we have Dr. Besigye out of prison and back to his family, friends and his doctors, the same group not question that his release was a negotiation. I do not actually understand how some people think and reason. So, as long as one of you is in the hands of your enemies, you must summon the best out of your intelligence to have that person rescued, no matter. That's how it is done. So you do not question how somebody is being released when it's in the hands of your enemies, because you don't have control. I am sure we do not have control over what's happening in Luzira and other prisons where some of our colleagues are detained without trial or are undergoing kangaroo trial. So it's only common sense that we summon the best of our energies, our abilities, our creativity to ensure that him and others in illegal detention are released. Nabadde Masaka nentambulako mu bitundu ebyenjawulo gye bawandiisiza abantu n'okukebera enkalala. Era kye nasanze nga ebimu ebiwandiika ne ttiimu mu ggombolola mulimu kamera emu. Ekyo nno ne kinafuya omulimu guno. Ekibuga nga Masaka omuli abantu abangi ate nga balina okukolebwako mu kiseera ekigere, abantu baffe bakalubiziddwa nnyo okutambula engendo okwekebera n'okwewandiisa, abakadde, abalwadde. Akakiiko k'ebyokulonda obunafu bwako tekabugonjodde bwe twayogerako. Era nasanzeyo okwemulugunya okw'abantu abalemereddwa olw'aba diso. Waliwo ekyokulabirako ekimu, diso atwala gye bayita Katwebutego ward yalwalire wuwe si mu kibuga. Abantu badde batambula kilometers ezisukka 15 ogenda okutwala empapula aziseeko omukono ewaka waali nga mulwadde. Era bangi balemereddwa olwa ebisale ebyetaagisa okukwata bodaboda oba emmotoka ogenda okunoonya diso okuwatirako omukono. So nga okuwandiika omuntu asinga okumumanya yewa LC nga bwe twali tuwadde amagezi. So awaddewo ekyobunafu kyamaanyi nnyo. Ekyokubiri, na buli kati tetumanyi obanga akakiiko register gye kateekateeka register eri manual oba eri digital. Ekibuuzo kino nakibuuza ne minisita wa ssemateeka naye takimanyi. Naye mumanyi bulungi nti akalulu obululu bwe tuyiseemu bubadde bubeeramu vulugu okuba ne register bbiri, biometric ne manual, nga ziri ku polling station zombi. Kyokka obuzibu obuliwo nti ng'abaagala enkyukakyuka situkoze kimala okulaba nti ensonga eno ebeera nsonga nkulu, kubanga wano akalulu kabbibwa. Akalulu okubbibwa tebakabba ku lunaku lwe kalondebwa. N'enteekateeka ya register oyinza okugamba nti kibitundu 5 ku 100 ku butangaavu n'obwerufu bw'akalulu. N'olwekyo siina bumativu ku nteekateeka ya register. Nalowooza nti eno yemu ku nsonga enkulu ezitwandibadde tuweremerako mu reforms, okukkaanya tukola register ya kikaaki, tukola manual oba biometric, na buli kati twali asobola tuwa ansa. N'olwekyo register yonna enazoza commission gy'enaayagala gy'enaaleeta oba zombi olw'omuvuyo guddemu. N'olwekyo okuwandiisa kuwedde, siina kirungi kyensuubira. Abantu bangi tebeekebedde mu nkalala era obadde oziraba kubanga babadde bamanyi nti baalonda. Kyokka ate era bangi bagenda babakyusa. Kati kyeneebuuza nti Computer Electoral Commission etamiira ennaku ezimu nti esobola okweteekako n'ekujja w'olondera n'ekutwala kilometers 2 nga yekikoze ku lwayo.